All right, everyone. We are back with the next episode of the Raiders Rambles. I am Jolt, chief host of the show, and joining me on this scary day is my co-host Noble.
Ooga booga booga! I love Courage the Cowardly Dog. Who doesn't? I imagine it'll gross people out though, but
Good show. Good show. Probably could get a couple of good scares out of that too. Louder delivery and probably a scarier face.
it's just
And
one of those big Halloween masks.
right. We got plenty of those, but I haven't seen that many Halloween masks around here and there. What a shame. Oh well. So next on the show we have Beowulf.
Yes, your Jack of all whole traits, master of absolutely nothing returns.
Yeah, it's been a couple of hot minutes since we had you back on.
It's fine, it's fine.
Yeah. Always good. And joining us today on this show we have Malagos.
Uh, hello.
Good to have you back on once again,
Yep, likewise.
as always. Well, today, of course, is always one of those days. It's the once in a year scary day, and of course, down here we don't celebrate it much, and of course we have that one meme passing around the whole, fuck off with that American shit, you cunts.
Yeah!
Yeah, what he said. Luckily for me, I didn't actually get any door knockers because they got rained out.
So kids can't handle a little rain these days, huh?
For their, candy. Granted, if anyone else has noticed, Halloween candy has shrank significantly over the years.
Right.
Are they using less sugar?
No,
No,
they're still using the full amount of sugar. It's just, you get one piece of chocolate as opposed to a bar.
Candy is more expensive now. Inflation.
that is
Yeah,
true.
I went and looked at candy, and it was $10 for like a bag that you put out, and it's like, holy crap!
Yeah, like a big proper bag. Not like one of those like little packs.
No,
I see
the
your point.
big proper bags of the tiny, bite-sized chocolate bars were like 15, and it's like, that's ridiculous.
Highway
Yeah.
robbery!
That's candy.
I know it's candy theft, but yeah, I get the point. Like I went to the shops, bought 2 packets just in case. Well, turns out we get to have all the candies for our household. So
Don't forget to brush your teeth.
hey, I don't eat a friggin' pack in a single day. I do it like how the civilized folks nowadays do. The civilized grown-ups have it with a side of coffee. Then again, the past couple of Halloweens, I've contemplated incorporating some coffee candies to give the kids a surprise, but I've never had the chance to actually deliver on that experience yet.
Is
See,
that meant to
I'm
be
one
a
of the
threat?
people who, if you come to my house, usually you're not here for trick or treating, so you might not get that kind of greeting. But I'm also the kind of person, people who come to my house and actually do get go for trick or treating, they get a full size candy bar.
Yeah, there we go. Just leave it out there. But a threat? No. I'm just here to give the kids a bit of both.
Oh
A
yes,
trick
no,
and a
they
treat.
will 100% meet the jackal in person.
Mm,
It's a reason to be dressed up, so why not?
isn't it? No. Yeah. Drake, thanks for tuning in. Being a fursuit at the house is fun. Oh yeah. 100% can confirm. Did that a couple of years back, during the Halloween before COVID hit in fursuit. 100% fun.
Yeah, I did that a couple years back as well, with a group, and we went and invaded a ice skating rink that they had like bumper cars that drive on the ice. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, I bet. Doubly more so in public places get get all in of the experience of it.
Yeah, it's in an ice skating rink, so it's cold inside.
Blessed.
So
It's the
Absolutely
closest
blessed
when
to see.
fursuits come into
ideal
use.
spot
Then
to fursuit.
See, never get cold, never get too warm, and it's just perfect. Besides, I think the weather lends itself to much up there, doesn't it too? Because winter is coming.
Yes, it's freezing nightly, so the water is ice in the mornings.
Mm-hmm. All right, so enough about the Halloween shenanigans. For the meantime, I'm sure you probably had a more exciting Halloween than people my age do, when all we do is just sit around and wait for door knockers to come in and say, get told, apparently you're too old to trick or treat.
why not just
Which,
go out with a cricket bat?
like, trick or treat, give me your candy.
Nah, just leave the bowl of candy out in
Well,
the outside.
well, the traditional thing was basically it was a threat. Either give us a treat, or we'll turn around and smash your windows with every single rock we can find.
Well, I mean, how far we've fallen, right? Like Halloween used to be that hardcore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it. So, aside from all of that, though, let's get started with the things of the week. We've got quite a couple of crazy things for you. All right, starting out with the whole well, we've talked. There's something we've talked about for quite some time as well, and this is Nintendo, and they've just been hit with a heavy blow now.
Yay! Nintendo's been enthroned as the copyright king. Yay!
That's right. Nintendo's Power's lawsuit faces setback after Japan rejects Pokemon patent application.
Now, hold on a minute. Does this mean giant corporations can't do whatever the fuck they want?
Oh, if
Yeah.
only they're not above the law as they think they are, it seems.
Oh, I feel sorry for Nintendo.
I would if they weren't inclined to be greedy and so anti-competition that they can't look inwardly.
Yeah, I would feel bad for Nintendo if wait, I don't feel bad for them at all because they've literally tried this hundreds of times and won.
Look, the truth is, if Nintendo actually produced good games, they wouldn't turn around and be as panicky as they are right now.
Well, I mean, the other thing is they have like a team of lawyers that has done nothing but absolutely demolish everybody on these type of lawsuits that they've won hundreds of.
Not to mention, and don't forget about the stuff they did in the US.
Oh yeah.
Monster catching games are now copyrighted.
Yeah, that's that would have been Nintendo's hope. Like, remember, we've talked about how they're basically patenting the whole monster catching feature that they tried to do the whole you can't catch a thing in a device, Pokeball, and then redeploy it afterwards. Therefore, it would invalidate the capture mechanic and the summoning mechanic. So they, in essence, the scope basically went beyond the whole monster catching game into RPG territory now.
I have a question. Did they ever sue Digimon?
No, they didn't.
No.
Not to my knowledge, no.
Because that was distinct and not quite the same.
Well, no, specifically Digimon, they don't catch them in any kind of ball or something. It's, yeah. You literally
No.
just run into some sort of monster thing that you think's probably going to kill you. Watch Digimon Series 3, Episode 1, and then Episode 2.
Good times, good times. Digimon, It's great. And now, speaking of, I mean, I'm glad, Digimon's basically making its comeback tour while Pokemon's basically flailing its arms around, making slop and suing the opponents. Isn't this grand?
I mean, let's be honest. Every major brand has just been churning out slop after slop
Right,
after
like the
slop.
big triple A's. It's not just Nintendo. It's
Well,
Assassin's
Amazon
Creed.
is going to churn out slop now, AI slop.
Yeah.
I
Right.
wonder how quickly they'll go the way of Doctor Who.
Give it enough. Give it time, but not that much time. But don't be surprised when they actually do go that way.
I
Because
mean, I
apparently,
think
like all of the big names seem to be going downhill fast.
except Battlefield.
Seemingly.
Battlefield saw the problem and about faced.
I suppose you could give it that, but still, one of
Six,
those.
six. Everything I've seen of 6 reminds me of 3. So
So it's just more of the same, except with just fancier graphics.
no. It was a return to what made them who they are.
All
Like
right,
what
Battlefield
everybody
3.
loved about Battlefield.
Yeah, I guess that era of Battlefield games was great. Not that I did get the chance to play Battlefield 3, but you get the point.
What?
I only played Battlefield 2,
Yeah.
and that was, to me, that was like one of the best multiplayer games out
For
there.
its
Like,
time. Yeah, 100%. So let's go back and have a look at the whole lawsuit. So Nintendo's ongoing lawsuit against Powell developer Pocket Pair may be facing new complications after Japan's patent office rejected one of the company's core creature capture systems patents for lacking originality. So
Does it actually mention Pokemon Go in this?
I'm not sure. We'll just have to.
We'll find
We'll
out.
just keep reading
Pokemon
it.
Go is right there, third paragraph, fourth paragraph.
Yeah, let's keep reading. The rejected patent belongs to the same family as several filings cited in Nintendo and the Pokemon Company's lawsuit against Powell, which alleges that the game infringes on mechanics related to capturing, switching creatures, and they said the proposed invention was not sufficiently novel, citing multiple prior games such as Monster Hunter 4, Ark, Survival Evolved, Kantai Collection, Craftopia, and Pokemon Go as early examples.
even
Using
they
similar...
made even their
There it
own game.
goes! Yeah, I know. It's psychotic, isn't it? Actually, I do wonder who does actually own Pokemon Go, because it is Niantic that develops it. No, seriously, can you imagine this? It's literally the fact they're using Pokemon Go to say, hey, look, Pokemon Go already exists, so you can't have this.
You can't claim copyright infringement on something like animals or creatures that are able to use tools or abilities that are captured in spheres. That's too. It's yeah. If there's people making a copy of your game of your creatures, and you allow that, then why is someone who makes their own stuff, who just has similar names for things, why is that an issue?
Look, and some of them look similar too.
Yes, some of them do look similar, but it's like, yeah, it's intended to be a ripoff, but it is not. It is its own thing.
So what else is there? Because there's some technical stuff about the lawsuit that's really got me kicking up.
Yeah, there is. There definitely is. The fact of the matter is that it's not that they couldn't use their own little cannibal, their own little sub thingo to claim that's the case. But so of course we know like some of the other games have used this whole same system, and of course it said in the rejection letter it said the claimed inventions shall not be granted for the reason that the claimed inventions could have easily been made by persons who have common knowledge in the technical field to which the claimed invention pertains. Like they have common knowledge into how a Pokeball works and how it how it can be the effect can be replicated in games and what have you.
So does that mean the Power World can come back to the whole spheres catching?
Eventually. No, I mean they're still they can't do it just now because they're while they're not granted, Nintendo has another 60 days to even to amend the appeal.
Mm.
So can
And
we go
yeah,
through the article a little more? Because I'm really hoping the part that I'm excited about actually crops up.
okay, let's have a read because there is definitely a bit more than that what we've got from this article. So, analysts have said, the night pattern as a key building block supporting others in the lawsuit. If one branch of that pattern chain is deemed unoriginal, it could lead to increased scrutiny of related claims during litigation. Therefore, like what I'm getting at is because this thing is deemed unoriginal, like whatever else Nintendo claims in the chain of things that they've decided to patent on a whim is considered unoriginal. They're going to look at it and then they're going to eventually say, nah, this whole thing can be dismissed. So yeah, I would think that there is actually the chances of Nintendo's claims being dismissed on the grounds of unoriginality have shot up.
I wonder how Nintendo fanboys are going to be reacting to this.
Well, they let's just say in like the past couple of months, they they hadn't had a good reaction when a lot of the Pokemon people switched to playing Digimon at the start of November. Well, October, I should say. But that was partly because Digimon when Time Stranger came out, that was actually a really really well made game, and I want it. I just can't afford it right now. Is the problem. So I guess you can imagine how they're going to be like when they see, what next year is going to look like when when this field in the the monster capturing game genre actually has proper competition. That would be crazy, right? Like imagine if actually if Nintendo Pokemon were actually capable of making good games. Maybe then we wouldn't switch. Have to
It
switch to
would have
Power.
been really interesting if Nintendo hadn't gone the way they did and instead try to turn around and do like a crossover.
Right? Like what can Pokemon crossover with?
Our World.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, now that would basically end the whole monopoly. Now, if everybody went all buddy buddy, you know, if they crossed over with Power, Digimon, or whatever have you.
I mean,
Well, the other thing is that
you'd have a pretty good
Nintendo.
idea, a pretty good freaking game then, because I mean,
The other thing is if Pokemon were created or the Pokemon company were focusing on their main titles and trying to make a good game, because I swear the first one, I mean, some of the topics we covered last time, if I remember correctly, were reminiscent of an adult game. Not too much.
Well, I guess that's something.
So yeah, at this point, Nintendo, I really hope you do fail hard with this one. I really do.
Yeah, like considering now that it's come to the realization that the case is just basically a bit flimsy more than anything else because like I think it's the whole Nintendo has to be provide proof that they're the ones who developed this mechanic first and foremost.
But it was
Otherwise, they
Game
just
Freak that
basically
developed this. It was Game Freak that actually made Pokemon.
yeah. And now it's just a more it's just a more like flimsy case. That's what's going to happen right now. So, but at the end of the day, what this really means is, okay, maybe now Power World can have all the features it's that stated in, reinstated, because you know what? Other than they have committed, because the only thing that they've done is basically commit the sin of being so popular so fast that it basically threatened Nintendo's market dominance, was really it.
I
But I
kind of knew
guess
they were gonna lose, especially when Sony actually uh, started funding in Pal World.
exactly, yeah. And then basically, yeah, Nintendo just basically got red under the collar.
It is honestly funny just watching how Sony went, oh, this could be useful. The moment Power World when it became really popular.
Yeah, then it got to arrive on PlayStation 5, and then some more. And then they're basically talking about doing an animated series with Sony.
Wait, really?
That's on the
Not just the.
talks.
Oh, I thought it was just the plushies.
Oh, the plushies are there. The plushies are real. I would say the whole, it isn't really can't hurt you joke, but it's past that point. But yeah, let's move to the next thing, and we're staying on the big gravy train of games and what have you, considering that this, games are a big thing now. And so, what's the next big thing, though? Halo. It's it's still
I
around. It's back, and it's shinier than ever, because they've announced that they're remaking the original game, Combat Evolved.
Oh, great! It's going to be for the new Xbox if that ever comes out.
Supposedly, but that's not the biggest, most groundbreaking thing ever. The Halo will be making an arrival on PlayStation.
Do you have any idea how many years people have been bitching and moaning for there to be 0 exclusive games for consoles?
Yeah, yeah,
Yahoo! We have reached the point because Microsoft have gone fuck Xbox.
exactly. Well, that's
Microsoft is now in the same position than that Sega was back in 2000 and back in the beginning 2000.
right. Like, I think if you were old enough to remember when Sonic the Hedgehog basically left the Sega Genesis and made an appearance on other consoles, who was there for that?
I,
Me, and I thought, okay, whatever.
I mean, I remember like I was like reading those gaming magazines back in 2000. It's just basically saying, "Is Sega dead?" Sega is considering moving in a third party. Sega is considering discontinuing Dreamcast, and all that. Like, I mean, Dreamcast was a great console, but like it was a little bit too little, too late for Sega.
And then they ended up ditching the Genesis and all of that. And of course, they moved their beloved baby Sonic to Nintendo's GameCube. But where are we at now? And now it's basically Microsoft's precious baby Halo is now moving over to PlayStation. And the memes of this have been absolutely funny and glorious. So, just this whole thing. GameStop makes the whole statement. GameStop declares the console wars over. Whereas for the past 2 decades, the global gaming community has been engaged in an ongoing and increasingly petty conflict known as the console wars. Whereas said conflict originated in the early 2000s with the release of Halo Combat Evolved as an Xbox exclusive title. Whereas Halo Campaign Evolved is officially coming on PlayStation in 2026 with cross-platform play. Therefore, GameStop, acting under its authority as neutral entity and the world's retail, gaming, and trading destination, hereby declares the official cessation of the console wars.
Sony wins!
Yeah, I mean, they kind of won because of their exclusives, but yeah,
Yeah. So let's see. They lost the Betamax versus VHS. They didn't win the CD. They didn't win the cassette. Um, DVD. Was that Sony or was that some other group? Or was Sony in the group that won versus? No, it was Blu-ray versus. When the Blu-ray discs came out, there was a different one,
2000.
HDD, DVD, HDD, or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
DDHD.
Sony doesn't exactly have a winning in the format wars, do they?
well, Sony's like, we're gonna be with everybody, and that
No, no,
doesn't
no. They've
that
always made their
necessarily
own
work.
shit. There's been the Sony memory stick. Do you remember that little bastard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good times when they had the memory card for the PS1 and among other things.
Oh
That
no, that was also for digital cameras and computers. There's a floppy disk that you can buy, adapter, where if you've got a special floppy disk drive and the correct driver installed, you can actually put a Sony memory stick into it and then copy over files through the floppy drive onto a memory card that takes basically the same amount of time. Slow
yeah,
as fuck.
because a floppy disk holds like 4 megabytes worth of data.
No, floppy disk only holds 1.44 720 kilobytes of data. So if you put a 128 megabyte, SD card, Sony memory stick in there, it's going to take an ass long time to copy. But back in the day, you didn't have the option. A lot of people didn't have the option of just plugging something into USB and Bob's your uncle. In this case, it's more functional for the time period, but nowadays you just look at it, roll at your eyes, and throw it in the bin.
Yeah, well, yeah, old formats are old.
Yeah, but when you really consider, well, all things considered now, like, say whatever you want, but now, like, yeah, all the only thing that's left in the whole console space is Sony or Nintendo, because Microsoft is now, if you really think about it, irrelevant in the grand scheme of things.
Microsoft tried to corporatize the whole gaming thing too much.
Yeah. And now, they pretty much, like some people say, now consoles have kind of been a bit, how you doing nowadays. And pretty much that's why, yeah, we're now left with, Sony and or Nintendo.
Does anyone else find it fascinating how two popular consoles died with that were running the same software?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, that's kind of that kind of checks out.
Yeah, it's like Windows CE for the what was this last console that Sega released?
Dreamcast?
Yeah, the Dreamcast was running Windows CE.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's the one I totally forgot about.
Yeah, I know. It's hilarious, isn't it? Microsoft's shit when it comes to gaming. I mean, they even turn around and they had like a Windows version for portable handheld consoles. And what happens? Oh, wait, let's just put Linux on here. Oh, wait, we get better battery life. We get better games. It's last. Microsoft.
Yeah. So the Halo remake. What do you actually make of it? Think it's was it really necessary when
No.
When was the last remake that came out of it?
Oh right, because
Sorry.
Halo came out in 2001, and 10 years later, the 10th anniversary, they did the Halo CE anniversary edition, which just basically gave it HD resolutions while preserving the original graphics.
Okay, good. And the one we're talking about today?
Our Halo campaign Evolved is going to come out in 2026, and this would make it like the 25th anniversary of Halo.
So there's 15 years since its last release then.
Yes, that would be correct.
Well, that sounds reasonable.
Yeah. Now they're basically doing, instead of redoing all that stuff, they're basically remaking the entire game and putting it on Unreal Engine 5, new graphics and all of that. So yeah. Is it
And
gonna
it's
have?
on the PlayStation 5 and 4, right?
Yeah, well, it's only on the PlayStation 5, and that's apparently like its biggest marketable feature, apparently. So now PlayStation fans can enjoy Halo for the first time.
Legitimately.
Yeah, with a PlayStation controller.
Legitimately.
hmm But yes, back to the whole thing though. It you think this is all gonna take you back, like if you were old enough to play that you played the original Halo on the first Xbox and you saw the magic that was Halo. Is this gonna bring back the whole same feeling? That's what I'm not so sure about. Because
I
it's
never played Halo, so I wouldn't know. I
Uh,
do have a couple of copies of it, but yeah, they're in my console collection, and I haven't touched those games yet.
my sort of um, well, what I take my sort of take with remakes is I don't think if remakes, if there's a game that's like good on its own, like say for example, one of my favorite games of all time is Roller Coaster Tycoon 2,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I would never remake it. Maybe remaster it to play it, although it's basically open source now, so it's playable on anything basically. But I would never remake that game because that game is perfect the way it is. It does not need remaking. Now, when it comes to, there are games that could use remaking. For example, there's sort of games that weren't that great or were ahead of its time, and they were just weren't uh that fantastic. Sort of like I would say one example would be the game of Orcs and Humans, for example, because that game was I think initially has a lot of it has an interesting lore, but it has a lot of problems in terms of gameplay, and a remake would actually suffice it. But when it comes to Halo Combat Evolved, even though it's not my favorite Halo game, my favorite is probably Halo 3. I don't think it needs a remake.
I don't think it's really a remake, though. It
Which one? Halo C.
It's a
Okay,
reboot.
yeah, it's more an upscaling
right. Like, so
from
we've
what I've
got a
read.
picture of Left Feet Right. So this is the original one on the first Xbox, actually Anniversary Edition, and here's the Campaign Evolved remake. If you see the difference.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't think that it's necessarily like a full remake. It's just an upscale.
Well, it's more than upscale. Of course you can see a different interface and all of that, and like how everything's been, you know,
Yeah,
brought
there's
up like in the
tweaks.
visual
I mean,
front.
I just hope they decide to keep it as it was.
Yeah, like I mean, they're gonna preserve the gameplay and all of
If
that
they
and the
go and
art.
start transforming stuff, I'm going to be mad.
No, no, I wouldn't be happy about Halo in that sense either.
The only thing is that there are some rumors that the this Halo remaster, whatever you want to call it, they might modify the story because later Halos. I never played later Halos, but I heard they're crap anyway, and the story in it is even worse. But because it's made by 343, uh, and not by the original Bungie devs, they might they might retcon some things in order to tie up with their current. And it's not the same thing. It's not a new thing. A lot of devs, when they remake the game, they try to uh, rewrite the story in order to fit in with the newer sequels.
Right. So effectively, what they're saying is they're basically going to keep. They are going to rebuild some of the things from ground up while preserving the thing. I mean, of course, they've really preserved the Mission to Silent Cartographer because that's what they demonstrated in. But they're going to add a couple. Like they're going to rebuild like the notorious levels, like the library, which is
The
like
library was actually one of the weakest levels, in my opinion, because it was. Because I remember last time when I played, it was like really long section, and
yeah,
also listening to 343 going like something, like it was kind of annoying to say
yeah,
the
yeah.
least.
It had it.
Zoidberg type talking, I'm guessing.
But
Yeah,
yeah, he was kind of like going Zoidberg, but like it was. I remember playing it with a friend of mine, like, and he was like extremely pissed whenever he heard 343. He's like, this thing never shuts up, like and yeah, but then again, modern game devs, when they remake a game, and they do tend to like simplify the game for modern audience. And
They
right.
slap in the good old microtransactions nowadays, or is that still sort of frowned
no,
upon?
I'm thinking more like simplifying the game
Like
to
gameplay, the core features, this streamlining and all that. Like
Yeah,
while
it,
not
Oh,
keeping the complexity of stuff.
reworking and streamlining, I think, are
Yeah,
two sides of the
different.
same coin. But like, if you do it too much, then you're gonna ruin the game.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the one thing I could probably say on that regard is that recently I've been playing the Final Fantasy VII remake,
like one
which
of the things
is
I
different.
like. One of the
Yeah,
unpopular opinions I have is I don't like Resident Evil 4 remake. Because to me, Resident Evil 4, up until now at least, the older Resident Evil 4 were a lot less serious. They were
yeah,
always supposed to be sort of like parody of B-rated horror movies, and Resident Evil 4 had a lot of silly moments that basically I thought were great, because big horror movies are supposed to have silly moments in it. But the thing that was the problem is they made the game, because the newer Resident Evil games were serious. They have like serious lore and everything. They they made the Resident Evil 4, they changed it to be more serious, to have a more serious tone. All the silly things like the throne room and everything was removed because they were silly. They didn't fit with the new Resident Evil thing, and that's what I'm talking about when they tend to zoomify. I like to call them zoomify things because they potentially remake them for the Gen Zs, which uh
Yeah,
which
well, I mean, it's also something when they take something that you played as a kid and are not a kid anymore. Frowny face.
yeah
Goes
they
goes and
think.
remakes it, and they ruin a lot of the things that you liked about it just because they want to simplify it or they want to rework a portion.
Or it's more like they always fear that if they keep the game as hard, because Halo CE back then, especially in higher difficulties, was, even on the normal difficulty, it was not an easy game. It was challenging. It didn't like. I know that it didn't have sprint. It didn't have iron sight and like your character could easily like die
Yeah,
if
the
not.
hard, like super hard difficulty in Halo was hard difficulty.
legendary.
Like
It's
Oh
you
yeah,
hard. It was
actually needed to try, or you were going to die.
actually hard difficulty. And the problem is like I feel like a lot of devs have, especially modern devs, they fear that if they make the game as hard as it as back then, that it
They
would
won't sell as
basically
many.
that
Yeah,
won't sell the game. Yeah, it would just basically,
that's
uh,
why it's a difficulty setting. I mean,
Yeah,
as well.
that
But
and and of course, Halo people still love playing the game on Legendary. You can't.
and
There's no disputing it.
one of the things that I heard the criticism was most was this new Halo will will have a sprint
Yeah,
section,
but they
which
said, yeah, but they
which
said
is
it's optional.
yeah, you can toggle it off. But the point was, I feel like at least in my opinion, Halo not having sprint was, I think, part of the challenge. And I think like when people say, well, because back then FPSs didn't have sprint. Well, actually, it's not true.
Yeah, but then some
Half Life did have
FPSs had
sprint.
had crazy mobility, but that's neither here nor there.
But I feel like that was the point of the challenge. It's like saying, um, to add like instead of Dark Souls having like such a big, so when you like, so in Dark Souls when you die you go to bonfires, and the distance between bonfire and another bonfire was huge. So
Right, but
for
that's
instance, so if they would remake Dark Souls, they'd say, oh, let's add bonfire, let's add more bonfires in between, that way so people don't have to essentially make the game easier, because if
yeah,
we
well,
basically remake the same game from 2010, it's going to not like dissuade people. It's going to like
my
pu- pull the people away.
my dude, that is a historically known game design concept known as checkpoints.
Yeah, and the thing is, it to I think it won't. Like I seriously think it won't, because uh people, at least even Gen Zers, they're not stupid. They can adapt to to difficulties quite easy. And I
Yeah,
think genuinely,
that's that's not
game
even
the more the game is difficult in a fair way, like Dark Souls, for example, or the more fun it is.
right.
Well, that's the
Yeah, like
problem. You're assuming that people today want to play games that are hard, or ones
right.
where you actually have to concentrate on, being able to achieve something.
But even then, like that's what difficulty settings are for, and Halo has the four difficulties, you know, baked into it. And of course, Halo's Legendary was, for people who played it, they got what they got, and generally they
I,
liked it.
I also
But
feel like
we're gonna
it. Sorry, just to add one thing before I finish off. If anyone has played System Shock Remake, which is done by Night Dive Studios, great developers that make that remaster old games into for newer computers. They did a lot of those old classic uh, shooters from the 90s into into playable on modern systems. But anyway, they did a remake of System Shock. Now, System Shock, I feel like would be a game that would get a remake, because the old System Shock was from 1994, and and I tried it, and I thought it was very choppy. Like even on modern systems, like the way it moved very slowly comparing to System Shock 2. It's like night and day. I could tell why people like System Shock 2 better, but then they remade System Shock 1, and you know what they actually did? They remade it in such a way that it still is faithful to the original, but it kind of removed that sluggish controls that that a lot of at least people in my generation, if they would play it, they would be like, oh, this game is too slow, to play. And I feel like System Shock is one of the examples of how remakes should be done. And remember, to add this to the point, they didn't add any quest markers or any like arrows to point you where you need to go, or like give you objective, go there, go there, go there. They really kept it to the original. And I remember um, game journalists were pissed about it because they're like, "What? This game has no question mark? You're running around the ship, and I don't know what to do." I mean, that was the entire point of the game, to actually you yourself figure out what to do. Now, they did eventually add quest markers and stuff, but they added it on the easy difficulty. So to access it, you would need to play the game on easy. So that's the thing, that I think one of the few remakes that was done correctly, or should have been done.
Yeah,
Right.
It is fun when game developers are like, we're just not going to hold your hand.
Yeah, like like let's let you experience the joy of exploration and all that on your own, and have you memorize all this stuff, learn, go through the process of learning, and I get that.
It's also like to solve some of the puzzles in the game, like codes and stuff. You actually need to read the logs that you go through. Now, a lot of
Mhm.
developers like, oh wait, but I mean that's too hard. Like, why would I go through the logs? To read the solution to the code. When in the modern games, when I actually read the logs, it would automatically like log in the code. So when I get in the code, it would just say the code is that because you read the log. Instead of like memorizing that log or writing it on paper or something.
Right, or using the in-game note system. But I think this has gone on quite far enough, and I see your point about remakes. So I shall leave you with one last thing before we move on to the next item that we want to talk about. Halo memes.
Yes.
Yes.
The memes.
I like who this is from because this is a government account, like an official, actual government account posting memes like this.
Destroy
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
flood. So, what's the definition behind this from the U.S. Homeland
So,
Security?
the flood, just to give you a bit of context, the flood in Halo is basically parasitic alien creatures. In modern context, the flood, of course, means illegal immigrants. And to
There
use
was a
Halo imagery for this, though, that is,
there
I
was a
love it.
Twitter post that said, "But what if the flood aren't the bad guys?"
Yeah, that's very asinine of someone, but also it's something I would expect from someone who's never played Halo.
Flood are just basically like parasitic aliens that want to like consume everything, like every living being, and
Just the entire universe.
yeah, like. But what if they are? They
What about
aren't
the good guys?
What if they are the good guys? I mean, it was very clear intentional that but
Yeah,
they only said that because they don't want to agree with ICE.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the big thing is oh our the government's saying a bad thing. Meh, meh, meh. I'm gonna say something random and make no sense.
I love it though. I just love that the DHS has been pretty on point with their memes.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like their memes are gold. I scrolled through like just some of their page, and I mean they're also posting receipts of the people that they've gotten.
Like they
But
did
their
the whole
memes are priceless.
yeah, they did the whole when they did the whole Pokemon meme, like their memes have just gone uphill from here on out.
Yeah, whoever is the social media manager for them is on point.
Dude, this is the sort of stuff that makes you want to go and join ICE and fight the flood, finish the fight.
I had a
Joel,
friend
but like me,
give
you're
me one.
Australian, so you're not allowed to, unless of course you immigrate.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure some of you would be allowed to immigrate here,
Yeah,
but
well, just immigrate for the sole purpose of making America great again. There you go.
you might get a gold badge just for saying that.
All right. So I love this though. I really do. Now we've got one more item that we've got on this docket for today. All right, and this is apparently the future that we're getting. This $20,000 Neo robot will clean your home, but there's a catch. Oh, look at that.
I recommend people after the stream, obviously, for people to watch Marquez Brownlee's take on this because he's a famous tech YouTuber and he actually commented about this, and his take about this is actually gold.
Right.
You know,
But first of all, let's read through what some of these have been saying. So before we get to before you want to go further deep diving into the AI and robotics sector rabbit hole, 1X, the AI and robotics company behind a $20,000 home robot that will clean your house and water your plants, wants potential customers to know two things. First, the Neo robot has several layers of security that will prevent it from transforming into the Terminator and becoming a murder bot. Second, the company will need you to sign a waiver, allowing human operators to see through the robot's eyes and help it perform tasks around your home.
So let's get this straight. They're being upfront, which is really nice, but you're going to have absolute, complete strangers guiding a robot in your house.
That's pretty much it because like you have to give yourself the okay to to have the robot empathize with you, like get to harvest data about you so we can do its functions as the people behind it intended for it to be done.
And also to make you a better customer.
I think does the article, because I haven't actually read I know about the story of the article, but I haven't read the article because it was blocking me because of ad block and everything. But does the article mention its pricing, how they're marketing it?
Right. Hang on.
Because it's really interesting how they're marketing it. I think it's the bigger problem than a robot AI becoming a Terminator.
Well,
essentially,
that's the thing. You've got now an operator, somebody random in the world controlling a robot in your house. What's the chance that person decides, I don't like the fact that you've got your Pacific sports team, or you've got a poster or advertisement for a Pacific
political
person,
party,
or
yeah,
and decide they're going to kill you? What
or
then?
set your house on fire, or
there's also another thing. This robot, as of right now, as of 2025, they're selling you a plan where you either pay $500 a month for it, or you pay $20,000 for a flat out fee. Now, the way they said this is that so the people who pay $20,000 for it, they will pay. First off, they will pay $200 up front. And secondly is that the robot isn't even out yet to the public. It will be out in 2026. But here's the real kicker. There's a demonstration video of what they showed what the robot was capable of, but all that robot was doing was not being done by AI, like that.
Right, like
it was not being done by AI. It was done by another person that had a VR set and was doing all that.
Right.
This robot is not actually capable as of right now of doing all that. The only thing that it's capable, I think, what they've shown that it's automated is it opens the door. It can open the door and close the door, and I think that's pretty much it. Like the thing that's what Marquez Brownlee actually said is more dangerous is that you're basically giving them money, a lot of money actually. Not that's not actually a small amount of money. You're giving them a lot of money to basically have a robot that for now can almost do nothing, but maybe in the future it might do something.
All
Now
right.
it's in what? Okay, so go ahead.
So when I'm looking at this, it's a toy. That's all it is. It's a fancy, somewhat functional toy that people can play around with. Would I recommend, which is their targeted audience, someone with a disability or the elderly? Abso-fucking-lutely not. And why, might you ask? Because someone else is behind it, and it's also, well, today's quote-unquote artificial intelligence. It isn't exactly going to be
So
reliable.
so from what I've heard is that when it gets released, and that's like in 2026 next year, when it gets released, and when you get the robot will not be able to do a lot of things because for the AI to learn how to fold shirts and vacuum stuff and whatever, it needs to analyze, it needs to learn, and that takes a lot of data, that takes time, for it to understand. So like a lot of those things. Now, what's really interesting is that you can actually hire one of their employees to control the robot and to do chores for you, essentially becoming a maid, a robot maid that's controlled by another person uh, in their HQ. If you're if you're that impatient. So then comes the actual point of what is the actual point of buying this when you can just hire a maid to do all this work.
You want to be a tech bro and have, cool fancy tech.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Okay,
much it.
Malagos.
I mean, here's a side note that I would be like, okay, but so you guys know, this robot might be in very odd uniforms. Meanwhile, service tech comes out to my place, assuming that I would ever actually own one of these, and the robot's dressed up in a frickin' fursuit.
See, that's the point I was going to get. I have to wonder how many furries are actually going to buy this thing, get a fursuit made for it, and have it run around.
Well, since furries are financially inept, that means they'll spend a lot of money, and then later on they'll complain that they don't have anything to eat. I assume yes, a good amount of them would. But
I mean,
also
that's only twice what half of them spend on fursuit anyways.
there is one issue though that I think furries, at least a group of furries, would actually not like this, and it is AI.
Oh,
Yeah,
damn
I
it.
suppose that is fair.
Because there's an ongoing, like, the whole well, you
AI
guys know,
bad,
but
AI
AI
good.
bad, AI bad. Yeah, I mean, AI is destroying artists and all that, like,
But it's
so
okay to use AI as a tool, but choose a lane, please.
man, every furry out there that says like AI is killing artists, don't use AI. So I I'm willing to bet they're actually using ChatGPT for something, like, or to explain to them or something, because like I don't believe it when they say like, oh, I'm totally against AI, like, I'm what use it. Yeah, actually, I don't believe it. especially since Google now basically puts AI like on the
in
search
their web
on
browser.
yeah in the search, like every time you search something, the first thing that comes up is the Google's AI basically telling you the your actual answer and all that. So I don't believe it. But anyway, I think a good amount of furries probably say, no, I don't want to use this because it's AI. AI is bad. It destroys people's lives, you know.
Well, you've got the proportion of those who will just basically buy it just to have the damn thing, and then they basically will slap an extra couple thousands of dollars by putting a fursuit on it. Therefore, they have a walking, talking fursuit that functions on its own.
Yeah.
However, we're not going to. Yeah, we're going to get to the ramifications of this. As like, what happens if you put a fursuit on a thingo? That's not covered in the user guide, and it will void your warranty for one. Assuming.
How will how will the thing be able to see through?
You make a custom tailored fursuit that the robot can just look out of.
I
I
mean, look at
literally
the
heard about this robot for 30 how to do this already, so it's like, eh. Furries are very ingenuitive people. Let's be honest.
Otherwise, we wouldn't be furries.
yeah.
Otherwise, fursuits wouldn't exist, especially like the glowy ones and the animated
Yeah,
ones. And
protogens. Cough.
yeah,
Or if you're so inclined, you would just basically take one of those Walmart fursuit heads and or Spirit Halloween ones and just modify it to fit the thing's face.
Yeah,
There you
I
go.
mean, it, I had a second to think about it, and I was like, well, they just put a fursuit on it, and then it was like, well, how would it see? And then I was like, protogens.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure someone's going to figure out a mod where they can move the eyes.
Oh, I don't even know if it has eyes, if those are just the cameras, but yeah, I'm sure.
Well, Blue Sky's gonna have a field day on this. Like somebody makes a robot in a fursuit, and somebody Blue Sky's like, but that is AI. And then comes the entire drama about the AI thing.
I'm pretty sure that realistically there's going to be something in the clauses that's like, you're buying this on, the assumption that we're going to be able to actually make the AI do what we want it to and stuff like
Right.
that.
Oh,
And, your house is going to be a training course for
also,
it.
yeah. Also, we are using the data that you're basically are paid. I mean, a guinea pig that you paid to be a guinea pig, because like the AI needs all that data and stuff to become better, to learn, and you're basically going to be a test subject for it. So if it breaks a lamp, or I don't know, breaks some Ming Dynasty vase or something,
We're
we're
not
not
responsible.
responsible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which comes a question, because let's be honest, rich. If anyone's going to buy this robot, it's the rich people are going to buy this robot. There's no
Well,
way
yeah, it's the
a
wealthy people.
a middle class person like myself would buy this. So the the question is, would that rich people actually be trustful enough for that robot? For instance, would have to, I don't know, dust off the shelves and everything, and there's like a priceless vase from the Ming Dynasty that's like over $100,000, and it's like sitting on a shelf or a pillar or whatever, and there's a robot out there that's dusting it, and then just boop, breaks the entire thing. And would you really trust?
Right.
Would they
Because
really trust that?
yeah, because it's like they haven't kind of clause like, what happens if the robot causes property damage and that sort of thing. Like they're like, we are not liable for this sort of thing, blah blah blah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Because remember, like if at the end of the day, this isn't a robot that's fully autonomous and self-functioning, it's basically controlled by a person. what happens if all of that and the robot just mysteriously wakes up and
Well,
starts going Hulk
it's
smash?
going to be controlled by a person as a start, but they hope that when it gathers enough data, it will act autonomously. But for now, yeah, it's being attracted as a person. I mean, you do hire a person from their service to control a robot and do all this stuff, which then again comes down to why not just hire a maid?
Hmm. Exactly. You're just basically hiring a glorified Fingo maid with extra steps and extra gears and all of that.
And also, it moves a
And
lot
not.
slower than a maid. I mean, did you see how that thing moves? He's basically uh, he needs probably like I don't know, a minute or something to fold a shirt, and to fold one shirt. It will probably take him a lot longer than a skillful maid would do it.
Yeah, but the
Because
robot
remember, it's controlled by
learn.
a person through a VR, and like he has to grab the shirt slowly, then
Mhm.
then grab it on a in the right way, and then move it, and it's like it. Honestly, even if I was a rich person and had a lot of money like Jeff Bezos, I would still not buy that robot. I'd just hire a maid.
Hmm. Yeah, so again, like this is like the tech solution to everything, including having housemates, is to overcomplicate it and inject more technology into it, thinking it's gonna make it look so clever and sophisticated.
I mean, in 10, 15 years, it might actually be worth it.
Yeah,
Maybe. But
it's
we're
how
not at
it's how I remember like 40 years ago, phones used to be uh phones used to be on the size of a bricks, and they would be carried on those like power boxes and stuff. But now, like 40 years later, we have like phones that can just like lift it with one finger. So yeah, takes like 40 or 50 years, but maybe then we'll have mobile robots that are faster and more agile and humans are doing chores.
Well, I mean, look how far drones have come in not 40 years.
Hmm.
Drones
You
have
could
been
buy drone.
actually no, drones have been actually for a while. They've been for like half a century now, probably.
Unmanned aerial vehicles have also been a thing for a while now.
Well, yeah, but that's strapping a computer into a plane.
Small plane. But I have seen drones where you can actually sit on them and ride them like a skateboard.
Yeah. Well, the food
Back to the
delivery
Future! Movie 2!
There we go. But at the end of the day, though, it's at this point now, there's no point like paying that much money up front
No,
for goodness knows how long, because at the end of the day, you know
Well,
what
this is
happens at the
designed
end of
for
it.
the rich. Let's be
Yeah,
honest.
and what happens at the end of its probable life of goodness knows how many years, it'll just become like part of the AI, machine junkyard.
It's a
the
phase.
only people that are going to buy this are very rich people that want to show off. They want to show off to say like, look, I have a robot that's he's the first robot made thing that makes even though he's like really slow and stuff, and I still hire a maid to do all the things that he can't do. So
Yeah, there's that. But aside from that, though, ooh, that'd be the fun thing. I guess that's all the time we've got for the week. Quite a bit of stuff here and there. So, who'd like to make a quick closing statement?
Malagos.
no. You move it to the other guy.
Oh, so you want
Beowulf.
Beowulf to start off, eh?
Jacko says bye on scary week, scary day, month. The month's over, guys. It's turkey season tomorrow.
We're starting to thaw out the
It was
the
Christmas 2 months ago in stores though, so I don't really know what season it is anymore.
all I want for Christmas.
Yeah, I know, right? Like I see Christmas merch and all of that, and now we don't, we don't got turkeys down here, but you get the point. Yeah, so now you know what? Kids have lost their chance to get the candy. No, you had your chance. Not you're not getting any candy if you door knock today. By pumpkin month, will not miss you. But yeah, anything to just wrap up the stuff we got through this week with, just to quickly add on to it.
Oh, yeah. Personally, I can't wait to see someone build a fursuit for that bloody robot. And
Oh, it's
finally,
100%.
Halo on PlayStation. So many people wanted it over the years, and now they're getting their wish, and they probably don't have a PS5.
Yeah, they went to the true console winner, the computer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
That console that just does it all and is the most versatile kit. But yes, I can't imagine like what it's going to be like to make a fursuit for a robot. You'll just like what I can imagine it now. You slap the head onto that thing and it will just basically like error. It will just blue screen because it can't see through an extra hole in its head or something. That would be hilarious. Anyway, Malagos, now it's your turn.
Well, contrary to what GameStop says, I don't think console wars are still over. I mean, for Microsoft, yes. They definitely are shifting straight towards PC and everything. I think Sony's still gonna make consoles, and they even they still do the whole thing exclusive. Like when they release their own game, it's exclusive for a year or two, and before they release it on PC, at least they're gonna do it there. And I mean, there's still Nintendo, even though Nintendo is now pretty much like its kind of own thing. Like it can't really compete with PlayStation 5 and PC because it's like its own thing. I still think it might actually take a decade or so for Sony to completely go for PC. And I mean, you still have Valve with Steam Deck that pretty much basically. I think Valve pretty much won with the portable console thing. But yeah, essentially, uh, we got to see Sega being turned into a third party publisher, and Microsoft. I mean, finally after 25 years, actually saying, well, you know what, the PC is actually a better market than console, because remember Microsoft has herded PC gaming for at least from the year 2000 till like 2000 and was like 15 or so. So yeah, I'm actually glad that we got to that part.
All right. Sounds great. Sounds great. All right. So I'd like to thank you all for tuning in, and you can, as always, hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did making it. You can always find our episodes on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, FM, iHeartRadio, BitChute, and more. That's all we got for the week. Stay frosty, and until next time.
Don't run out of toilet paper.